Real quick before you watch this video, if you're not getting notified when I upload videos, it's probably because you haven't clicked the bell symbol next to the subscribe button down there. Also, if you haven't received an email from me with discount codes and secret giveaways, it's also probably because you haven't clicked this link and signed up for my email list. You might want to do that now. Enjoy the video.
Really glad to have Colion Noir. He is, of course, a great host from NRA TV. His show is called Noir. How are you, Colion? How are you?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me, Joe.
Yeah, really appreciate having you on. I've watched only one or two of these bits from your show, and man, this stuff is amazing. I want to jump into who you are, where you came from, and how is it that you hooked up with NRA TV, and how do you know so much about firearms, man?
Well, long story short, I shot my very first gun when I was around 24, 25 years old.
Okay.
It wasn't love at first shot. It was actually terror at first shot, then love at second shot. And so after that, I kind of just dived into the whole of everything firearms related, not from a political standpoint, but more or less from just a fascination for the science, the physics, just the overall enjoyment of just firearms in general and shooting. It wasn't until we got a couple of major mass shootings that I started to jump into the political end of the spectrum with respect to firearms. And so from there, I made a couple of videos on YouTube that went extremely viral, and here I am today.
Were you immediately the guy who wanted to know the facts and wanted to make sure that we had it right about an AR-15 or an AK this or a handgun that and semi-automatic versus automatic? Did you automatically want to know the answers, or did you jump in like so many do and say, I've got to ban everything?
Well, no, for me, I had so much in the way of information. So maybe there's a little bit of cheating in that regard for me. So I knew so much about it. So what that did was it really highlighted how much other people didn't know about it, but were part of the conversation.
Yeah. And once you started hearing what people were saying, like I'll give you an example. Friday, I had a guy call into this very show, and he was arguing with me that he wanted to get rid of Uzis, wanted to get rid of machine guns, wanted to get rid of any gun that can shoot 100 rounds in a second. And I was like, well, dude, none of that's happening. So why don't we actually talk about what's really out there? Why don't we talk about well, we got to get rid of the AR-15. All right, we're talking about Thousand Oaks. Why do we have to get rid of the AR-15? Because of Thousand Oaks. Well, he might not have had one, but it's a military-style assault weapon, and we have to get rid of it. There's an indoctrination, Colion, that I'm sure this is exactly what your series is about and your show is about. There's an indoctrination out there where people like that really believe that he knows what he's talking about, but he doesn't. Now, I believe that he's a good guy that wants to solve a problem, but we have to start from a place of knowledge, don't we?
Yeah, unfortunately, what has happened is the indoctrination starts very early, and it may not be as insidious as people think it is or deliberate, but it starts from movies. That's where you get a lot of people who have a false sense of understanding what firearms are and what they can do.
Right.
And we've been watching these movies for our entire lives now. So then you get an individual who sees a mass shooting, and then you got the media component, which I do think is as insidious as they're portrayed to be. And from that perspective, they're watching the news, they're seeing an AR-15. They're like, well, I saw that in the movie. When I saw that in the movie, the guy who got shot got blown back 18 feet. And then,
right.
Of course, you never have to reload, so the gun shoots non-ending.
Right.
And so you get that person with a false sense of understanding, which gives them a false confidence to then get up there and challenge someone like you and I, who have a very working understanding of what guns are and how they work in real life. And then they contest our ideals and then say things like, we need to get rid of Uzis, we need to get rid of machine guns. And even though the most recent mass shooting didn't incorporate an AR-15, we need to get rid of those too, because in the movies, they're glorified almost to a mystical level that can be scary to a lot of people. So they see that on a TV and it looks similar to what they saw in the movie. And it's like, oh my God, why do we have these? They only use those in the movies. The only people who use those in the movies are the military. Never by civilians.
I couldn't agree more. It's Colion Noir. His show is on NRA TV. Go to NRATV.com, and you can go see all the back episodes there, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We see all of them 7.
You've got to go and check these out. What's interesting about what you just said, not only are the movies doing it and have they done it forever, but then there are people like Eric Holder, who we know in 1995 said, we must brainwash kids to think guns are bad. So that means the gun that the cop has is bad. That means the gun that the military member has is bad. That means the gun that you and I carry to protect our families and ourselves and our stuff, those are bad as well. We've also indoctrinated people to believe you need 2 rounds in any magazine because you don't need more than 2 bullets to shoot a deer. How do you counterbalance that? Because people have really bought into this.
So for me, what I've learned over the time, because like I said, I wasn't exactly pro-gun before I started shooting.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, a lot of my friends are pro-gun. Now, I have a ton of friends now who are super pro-gun, but what I realize is you've got to really flip the perspective for people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't ever see themselves as the defender. They see themselves as a victim. And so, like I recently did a training session with a young lady, and she was telling me how she was scared of firearms. She hadn't really shot them before, and then they scared her. And so what I told her was, I was like, they scare you because you only see them as a thing being used to hurt you.
Right.
And I was like, once you go through this course and you start shooting and you start to understand what you can do with the firearm in terms of defending yourself, you'll become more empowered and realize, no, it's not that I'm a victim of firearms, it's now I'm in a position to defend myself against a bad person with firearms. So once you flip that perspective and allow that person to put that person in the situation in real life,
right.
It really changes the narrative for them in their minds almost instantly. Because it's like, if I didn't know how to use a gun before and I didn't think I could use one to defend myself, the only way I'm going to see it is it being used by somebody else who does know how to use it against me. And so that's the way I try to kind of change the narrative, is to say, you know what? You're only envisioning being shot at. You've never envisioned yourself being the defender of yourself and the people that you love.
It's a great point. It's a great perspective that you can only give, though, when you have that one-on-one. You and I try to speak to the masses, and the masses really think they already know. I know the sky is yellow. You can't tell me the sky is blue. Even if we have all the proof we want on a mass level, they can blow us off because they've got all this noise from the media, from academia, from Hollywood that are saying something different. It's Colion Noir. Go and check out his show. It's on NRA TV, NRATV.com. Go there and go see all the back shows. And he's got the latest episode. This is season 7, episode 9. You're actually in Albany, New York. It's my old stomping grounds. I was a television news anchor in Albany at WRGB, and it's a corrupt city. Well, the government is. I mean, the city is actually very nice, but the government's corrupt. And this one is called Albany, New York, Graft City, Part 1. Fill me in.
So, With Albany, we've been doing this for pretty much the entirety of season 7. We're traveling to different cities that are known as kind of liberal safe havens, where also gun control is the rule of the day.
Yeah.
And each of these cities have very specific issues and problems in various places throughout the city. And so we thought to ourselves, well, we've been talking about the fact that the guns aren't the issue, but there are deeper issues involved that if we got to the root of those, we'd be able to solve whatever violence issues that may be going on that are affecting the people in those communities. And so we decided, what we're going to do with this series is take a look at that, because nobody ever really does, at least from that perspective. Anytime they talk about the violence in certain places, what they do is say, let's go here and see, is there something deeper going on that's causing this issue, or allowing this issue to thrive and flourish in a way that it shouldn't. And so with Albany, when I got to Albany, I didn't really know what to expect. But there is an underlying violence problem in Albany that largely goes ignored because it isn't New York City.
Right.
Yet they are affected by the policies that are being passed down from New York City down to them. And with regards to that, what I've noticed is it ends up affecting the people in the city who we're not worried about. And so when you get things like the SAFE Act, it's like, the people who are engaging in these levels of criminal activity and violence don't care about a SAFE Act. It's not stopping them from doing anything. It stopped me from carrying a gun in the city. And keep in mind, I'm going to places where I'm not allowed to carry a firearm.
Right.
And so I'm here I am in places where I have a concealed carry license. I don't have a criminal record, yet I'm in more danger because of the SAFE Act than I am without it.
And by the way, you would be arrested in New York if you carried your gun. I'm an LTC here in Texas. I'm allowed to carry almost anywhere. But if I go to a city like New York, I'm going to go to jail, even though I legally own this gun.
Absolutely. I mean, it even goes further than that. We went to a local gun store there in Albany, and I couldn't touch any of the handguns. I got there. I was excited. You go to a gun store, it's like being a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing these guns. I'm like, oh, can I take a look at that? He's like, well, you can't actually do that because you're not a resident. So I'm not even allowed to touch.
So if you're not a resident, you can't touch a gun.
Nope.
Come on, man. And
Yeah.
that makes sense. How is that helping the crime rate in Albany? How is that helping the crime rate in Schenectady? How's it helping the crime rate in Troy? It's not.
It's not what it is. What it is a superficial scapegoat. It's nothing more than a scapegoat that allows the politicians and people responsible for representing the people in these places to make it seem like they're doing something, or to kind of shine a light here as a distraction so that nobody's looking at the underlying issue. There's an economic issue going on in Albany that no one's wanting to address, right? But that's a lot harder of an issue to fix. That's not something that you can stand on and say, look what I did.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for this. But what you can do, especially for people in advanced New York City who don't know any better, is say, I passed all of these gun control laws because I'm an awesome politician and representative for you. But they haven't really done anything to make anyone safe. There's nothing practical about it. So what ends up happening is the people who probably need the guns the most are most affected by the gun control laws because they're law-abiding citizens. Whereas a criminal, whose very definition is to break laws, will just break said laws and then still use that, ironically enough, break those laws and thus continue to terrorize the surrounding communities with the violence.
His name is Colion Noir, and I want you to go check him out. He's a great host over on NRA TV, NRATV.com. NRATV.com. Go check out all the episodes. The latest is Season 7, Episode 9, about Albany, New York, and these ridiculous gun laws. Well, one last question. It's a very broad question that we're not going to be able to solve, today, but I certainly want your input on this. As we go forward and we see that you're right, everything you just said is right. The politician wants to say, I did something, show people what they did, vote for me, keep on giving me the power, when the people actually gave this person the power to disarm them and give them no ability to respond and defend against a bad guy. Can we turn that around? Are you hopeful that we can turn that around? Because in much of America, you still can defend your house, your stuff, and yourself. But places like that in South Side of Chicago, Washington, D.C., you can't.
It's a daunting task, to say the least. I don't know a lot of people out there who feel like, no, we really can't turn it around, but I disagree. And the reason why I disagree is because the medium of information exchange has changed. And the beautiful thing about it is, and sometimes the worst thing about it is, you can't really control it unless you just shut down the internet.
Yeah.
And there are attempts being made to stifle the voices of people in the two-way community who are using their platforms to educate people on the matter. And we continue to push forward, but even yet, still, our message is getting out there. Otherwise, if we were still talking about legacy media type aspects of things, if we still lived in that world, then no, I would say no, there's no hope because they literally can shut us out. Legacy media largely ignores me because there's really no way to attack me. And so what they do, they tried to attack me and realized all they did was push my message even further and people got to hear it. And so what they do now is they largely ignore me or try to ignore me. Or if they find an angle where they think they can attack me, then they'll do it and then realize, oh, crap, we fell into the trap again. So with the way that the internet is now, with the way that things can go viral, I can put up a post now on Instagram and then from my phone, I can literally reach millions of people.
Right.
In one wide swath. And so it's hard to really control that. And even though they do try to limit my reach artificially, I'm still getting to people because then people will see somebody who does see it, who they're not limiting, will then repost it and then so forth and so on.
Absolutely.
It creates a wide net and people, the biggest or the best defense against gun control or insidious gun control is information. The more information people have, the better they understand how the gun works in our life and how it's a positive and not a negative. And so as long as we can continue to get that information out there to people, then they'll start voting a certain kind of way or putting pressure on the representatives to actually start pushing a different type of agenda that's more advantageous to the people in those communities.
I could not agree more. Keep up the amazing work, my man. It's Colion Noir. His show is on NRA TV, NRATV.com. Go check out all the shows. The latest one is Season 7, Episode 9 in Albany, New York. Just great stuff. Really glad to talk to you, Colion. Let's talk again very soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Yo, real quick before you go, just want to let you know that for the remainder of 2019, I'm going to be giving away a bunch of awesome products, and I'm going to be doing this every single month. So if you want to learn more about how to sign up so you can potentially win some awesome products, hit the link in the description section and learn. All right, folks. Holla.
What's going on, folks? This is Colion Noir. If you like what you saw in this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button that should be located on the bottom left portion of the screen. I mean, come on. Who you fooling? I know you want to.